University, Lucknow. I, Dr. Shipra Mishra, Assistant Professor, Faculty of Law, Integral University, Lucknow, take this privilege to warmly welcome Dr. Sharmeen Khan ma'am, who will enlighten us on the topic energy security goals and climate concern in India. At present, she is working as Associate Professor in the Department of Architecture, Aligarh Muslim University, Aligarh. Ma'am is a keen researcher and seasoned teacher, having special knowledge and study of design and construction practices of sustainable architecture, having a teaching experience of more than 20 years. She is totally committed to research, writing, and administrative works. She has authored three books, namely Constructability, a tool for project management, History of Islamic architecture, Delhi Sultanate, Mughal and provincial period, History of Indian architecture, Buddhist, Jain and Hindu period. She has published more than 50 research papers and articles in leading journals and periodicals in her credit. She has also done one consultancy project on vetting of GPR for development of urban heart, Bareilly Heart. She has also the affiliations and credentials of various architectural bodies, namely Council of Architecture, ORCID, Google Scholar, and ResearchGate. She is an editorial board member in Journal of Civil and Construction Engineering, Journal of Research and Infrastructure Designing, Journal of Environmental Engineering and Scope, etc. She has organized and presented papers in more than 100 seminars, conferences, workshops, and other national and international events. She has delivered numerous lectures as a resource person in different institutions of national and international repute. MAM has also been bestowed with various departmental responsibilities like coordinator, assistant superintendent examination, center observer, course advisor, etc. This is just a very few things from MAM's academic account. So, with this unending achievements and accolades, I would like to invite MAM on screen to enlighten us with her work students. Over to you, MAM.
Thank you, Dr. Shipra. Am I audible clearly?
Yes, ma'am, you're absolutely audible.
Okay. Let me share. Please tell me when the screen is visible to you.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, sure, sure.
Is it? It is processing right now.
Yes, ma'am.
Uh, Meanwhile, good morning to all of you, all the participants, faculty members from the Integral University. And is it visible?
And still it is not visible. Ma'am, wait for a second.
Yeah. Okay. It is now?
Yes, ma'am. It is visible.
Okay. Thank you. So, right. So, thank you for giving this opportunity to talk about energy security goals and climate concern in India in your faculty development program on Indian policies and prospects to achieve sustainable development goals, which is a burning issue. It is very important, and all the areas of engineering and sciences and social sciences, everybody is related and concerned about these issues. Now, let me start with what we understand and why this sustainable development. It was agreed in 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development by all UN member states in 2015, and they offered a shared roadmap for peace and prosperity for people and the planet, both now and in future. Which means that whatever we are doing today, we have to be very sensitive, and we have to use all the resources sensitively so that we do not exploit them to the extent that our future generations are at risk. This means that we are supposed to think about our children and our grandchildren as well at the same point of time. There are 17 sustainable development goals which call for an urgent action that should be taken by all the nations, whether they are developed or they are developing, and there has to be an international partnership at the center of it. Now, this term of sustainable development was defined in 1987 in the Brundtland Report during a roundtable conference, and it says that this development is like sustainable development is the development that meets the needs of the present generations without compromising the ability of future generations, right? So we have to be very careful while using any resource today so that we do not finish it off and we do not exploit it so much that children and grandchildren do not even know what it is. They do not find a trace of it to see what it was that their fathers and grandfathers have used. Now, there are three pillars of the sustainable development: environmental, social, and economic. I think most of us are aware of this fact that there are three pillars, there are three broad categories or issues related to sustainable development. Many researchers and work have been done on environmental issues, and less than that on economics, and less than that on social sustainability. But now the planners, the designers, the urban planners, they are now looking towards how to increase the social sustainability also, how to improve the social sustainability also. Now, if we look at the 17 sustainable development goals, we'll find that all these three broad areas are covered under one or the other goal among these 17 goals, right? Because it talks about no poverty also. It talks about quality education. It talks about gender equality also, which is a social issue. And then the goal number 13 talks about climate action. And that is what we are going to concentrate upon today. So, among these 17 goals, our focus today is broadly going to be on climatic issues. Now, there was a very important announcement made by our Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji, uh, which was done on November 10, 2021. And he said that India will attain the net zero emission target by 2070. And this long span of 2070 has been targeted because we are still a developing country. We are at a low point in our development trajectory. We are not yet a fully developed country. So this broad, timeline has been announced, and all the efforts are being put up by the government of India to do whatever to the best they can do to promote sustainable development and be at par with the other nations at the international level. And there are things like eco city also. The concept of eco cities is coming up in India, although not much has been done, but one or two have been done in Pune, which is based entirely on the concept of sustainable development. So this is how we are slowly moving towards it. And he also said that India will increase the non-fossil fuel capacity for electricity generation to 500 gigawatts by 2030. That agenda, that mission has been set, and there are policies to reach that level. So the India's commitment can be seen by various efforts that have been taken up, and India has notified Niti Aayog also, which is a nodal agency for the implementation of these SDGs. And this agency has asked the states to prepare action plans, and they have also earmarked them exercises to develop national indicators for 17 goals. Now, these national indicators I'll talk about later also are given by the this organization, and they are a means of measuring the relative progress that we are doing year by year, and at equal intervals of time they are measuring how much progress we have done and how far are we to achieve our goal. So, in this way, they are dedicated and committed towards achieving the 17 goals. India agreed to reduce its emission intensity by 20 to 25%, by 2020 over the level of the 2005 readings. And in the Paris Agreement, India's national determined contributions, that is NDC, committed to achieve three targets: 33 to 35% reduction in the energy intensity of its GDP by 2030, 40% cumulative electric power installed capacity for the fossil fuels based on energy resources by 2030, and additional carbon sink of 2.5 to 3 billion tons of CO2 through additional resources. Now, Agenda 2030 India was given in 2017, and which talks about the sustainable development goals. And there's a civil society, which is Vada Na Todo Abhiyan, is a national campaign which is focused on governance accountability to hold the government accountable for its promise to end things like poverty, social exclusion, and discrimination. Now, there are various agendas covered under this report. Like we have 1 to 17 goals, so there are 17 different agendas. The 13th one, as we know, is related to climate action. So I'm only including here the 13th one. So 13.2 talks about integrate climate change measures into national policies, strategies, and planning, which is covering two important sections. The first one is pre-2020 action, and the second one is the achievement of NDC in the post-2020 period. India's total installed energy capacity in May 2017 stood at uh, uh, 3,29,000 megawatts with renewable energy installed capacity of almost 17.4% of the total capacity. And hydro installed capacity was almost 13.6 of the total installed capacity. Now, there's a target of 175 gigawatts of renewable energy capacity by 2022. Steady gains are being made at the solar front because India has different climatic conditions, and we are very lucky to have a lot of solar energy available to us. Especially, there are some states where this is available in abundance, and we can use it for clean energy source. So there is a lot of progress which has been done on this ground. India had a total of 9 gigawatts of solar capacity, including the rooftop projects by the end of 2015. And during 2016, 4 gigawatts of solar capacity was added. And during 2017, it was likely to add again 9 gigawatts, making it a total 18 gigawatts of energy. So India is already the fifth largest wind energy producer in the world with an installed capacity of 25 gigawatts. So we this report is talking about 2017 likely because this was spread prior to that. This is not the current status. The Climate Action Tracker rates that India's NDCs as medium in contributing to achievement of the global goal. That means we are in a reasonably good position. And it also states that whatever policies we have in India, which are carried by any of the organizations, say NDC's commitment, they are good enough and there's no need to add new policies to it. So, and this is a result of aggressive progress in power and modest ambitions of the NDC. The draft electricity plan projects that the non-fossil power generation capacity would reach 38 to 48% in 2030, which is corresponding to almost 31% share of electricity generation. And India's emissions intensity in 2033 would be at least 40 to 45% below the 2005 level. As I told you, we are always working on a comparative scale, and after regular intervals, the progress is measured. So, whenever there's a comparison, it is done with the previous years. Now, since independence, India has installed energy capacity and it has increased by over 240 times. Per capita availability has also increased by over 67 times, and the population has increased by less than 4 times. But yet to say that there are 300 million people still who do not have access to electricity. So we need to focus more on the renewable resources of energy and generate them and make it available to these people to whom still it is not available. The second next agenda is 13.3, which says improve education, awareness raising, and human and institutional capacity on climate change, mitigation, adaptation, impact reduction, and early warning. Now, this, I suppose, is what we are doing here right at this point of time. I'm talking to you. This FDP is organized by the Integral University. We are talking about energy, we are talking about climate, we are concerned about the climate. This is how awareness raising can be done. So it is not that only high organizations or people sitting at some distinct positions can do to save energy. It is me and you as well who can contribute towards saving energy and using renewable resources. It's only a matter of awareness and adopting these strategies, because adaptation from one methodology to other is different, but once you adapt to it, it becomes your lifestyle. So there are efforts which are being done, and there are a wide range of people who can contribute to this, like the professionals and people like you and me, people who have more political influences, the youngsters, because they are more concerned and they are more aware, and we have to make them more aware about more aware about the climate concerns. So there are certain points into this which talk about keep it local, highlight impacts and solutions, relate to the family, community, region, language groups, so that everybody knows and understands about it. Every person is likely and can also efficiently contribute towards energy saving and save the climate in some way or the other. If you are switching off a fan which is where no one is sitting, you are saving energy, because this light is coming through electricity which is generated by some source, and we are saving that source. So every member of the society, every person, every individual can contribute. You have to reflect national pride in India as a country that is overcoming challenges and on a journey of improvement. We in India, we have to tell that we are not going to wait for other countries to set up benchmarks and we to follow. We can do it ourselves. But every individual should be aware of this fact and should be willing to contribute towards this. We have to focus on youth because they are high source of energy for us and they are the future of our country. We have to highlight the impact of climate change on food and health. We have to pay attention to regional and seasonal foods, mental and well-being of farmers also. We have to present climate change as damaging. We have to present the climate change as damaging a connection with the future. We have to show that changes need to come at all levels, which includes taking personal responsibility. Me and you, every one of us has to take a personal responsibility on moral grounds to save energy, then only it is possible. This entire exercise is about the awareness that we have to create among people. We have to present climate change as a dramatic rift with the past that threatens the natural and social harmony. We have to talk about the shift in the monsoon season, the different climatic the patterns that are occurring today. We are not receiving monsoons at the correct point of time when it should be there for the farmers, for the food that we are supposed to get. So if we are cautious about all these facts, then we'll take care of things. If we are careless about, if we are getting, everything at ease, then we are not really concerned about what is actually happening in the world, what global warming is all about, how much damage is happening at the rate of per day. We have to use concern about pollution as a key entry point for starting the public conversation. You have to be careful. You have to talk about carbon pollution, climate change, fossil fuels, renewable energy. You have to present the renewable energy, that it is improving, rapidly, and it is becoming cheaper and more effective and reliable. We have to promote the idea of renewable energy resources to the individuals, to the society, to the groups, whosoever and wherever we get an opportunity to do so. There's another agenda which says promote mechanisms for raising capacity for effective climate change related planning and management in least developed countries and small island developing states. That is, we have to talk about the planning criterias and the management criterias. These are two important domains in which we have to work, and we have to bring changes in the planning also and in the management issues also to save the climate. Now, there are various institutional setups which have been done to save climate, to promote sustainable development. Like Niti Aayog has been overseeing the implementation of SDGs at the national level. And as part of this implementation process, the Niti Aayog has carried out mapping of all SDGs, central ministries, and the centrally sponsored schemes. And the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation is also one of the key role players in the implementation of strategies. They are working together. And there are 62 priority indicators that have been identified. As I was telling you earlier, that Niti Aayog has identified national indicators. So these are 62 priority indicators which have been identified, and they have been developed in association with the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation, and they give their reports from time to time. So the goal wise progress is released in the form of reports from time to time, and they talk about these just to bring into, because as we were talking about Vadana Toro Abhiyan, that the government itself is making itself accountable towards the SDGs. So this is how they respond to this. They show us that they have been doing this and they are still, progressing. This is how they are achieving, and we need to support the government schemes. We need to promote the government schemes to achieve more sustainability in future. Now, research note on sustainable development goals and achievements of India says that this goal 13 on climate change, again, it aims to integrate measures into national policies and strategies, and it aims to plan and promote mechanism for raising capacity for effective climate change related to planning and management. Now, here the role of urban designers, the planners, the town planners, the infrastructure developers, that comes into picture, because if they promote these issues, these resources like renewable energy we are talking about, these are sustainable technologies which are coming up. So it is them who can implement them, who can promote them, and who can show the positive results that we are getting out of implementation of these sustainable technologies. Because unless you taste something, you won't realize how good or how bad it is. So they have a responsibility. These planners have a responsibility of promoting these technologies, these materials which are low in this energy consumption, and they reduce the carbon. They contribute towards the carbon sink also. They contribute towards net zero energy buildings also. Now, if we reduce, there are two things: the demand and supply. We have to reduce the demand in order to make it compatible with the supply. So if you plan something which is good enough and which is self-sustainable, then perhaps the need of more energy input into it is minimized or maybe reduced to a great extent. So India has great geographic diversity and a wide variety of climate regimes and regional and local weather conditions. So they can be vulnerable to climate change also, and we can use them as an opportunity also at the same time as planners. These climatic conditions can be used as opportunities by giving such an infrastructural facility that the building becomes self-sustainable and contributes less towards the pollution to the environment. The Sustainable Development Goals, their National Indicators Framework Progress 2021 highlights the progress made so far in the journey of the SDGs. There are targets and there are the present and the conditions. Now, this is how it is there in the report. We can find it. The links are also there. These reports tell us from time to time what is the current situation regarding a particular target that was set by the agency. So, if we talk about improve education awareness, raising human institutional capacity, and also they calculate them, they have their 62 indicators on the basis of which they calculate these values, and every regular interval they go on calculating this, and then they have a comparative statistics to understand that they are growing and they are making um, progress in a particular area. There are national missions also under National Action Plan on Climate Change, launched in 2008. Some of them I have listed here, like National Solar Mission is there, and the target was to achieve 100 gigawatts of solar power in 7 years, which start from 2014-15. Now, by the end of December 2021, the solar capacity of 49.35 gigawatts has been installed in the country. There's a national mission for enhanced energy efficiency also. It has measured its progress in two phases, phase one and phase two, and annual energy savings of 8.67 million tons of oil equivalent from 8 sectors in phase one, and again, annual energy savings of 14.08 was achieved from 11 sectors. National Mission for Green India, that is to increase the forestation and improve the quality of forest cover in the country, and they have invested a lot of money into this, and afforestation activities have been taken up. 1,17,000 some hectares of land has been made afforested, and alternative fuel energy devices have been distributed to 33,099 households. National Mission on Sustainable Habitat also has set up its target related to urban planning, and there are different programs running right now under this, out of which there are three programs which talk about one of them is Atal Mission on Rejuvenation and Urban Transformation, Swachh Bharat Mission, and Smart Cities Mission. We are every day listening about Swachh Bharat Mission also. We are hearing about Smart Cities Mission also. So all these programs are running in a good pace. But again, I'll say that each one of us is a major contributor towards the success of these missions. National Water Mission is there that focuses on the monitoring of groundwater, aquifers, mapping, then capacity building, water quality management, and also talks about water conservation, augmentation, and preservation. So, the National Institute of Hydrology is the nodal agency to get state-specific action plan for water sector for 19 selected states. And 15,640 groundwater observation wells are being monitored by Central Groundwater Board. National Mission on Strategic Knowledge for Climate Change is also there, and it aims at gaining better understanding of climate science and formation of knowledge networks among existing knowledge institutions engaged in research and development of national capacity. So, under this program, 11 centers of excellence for climate change have been established. Six lead institutions conduct training programs on climate change, and revised mission document aims to establish 20 centers of excellence. Now, these centers of excellence are doing uh, mm, their exercise on increasing the awareness among the individuals towards the climate concern. Major initiatives and achievements in India can be listed as India has announced national hydrogen mission for generating hydrogen from green energy sources. So, through technological advancements, hydrogen is being blended with CNG for the use as transportation fuel. And on June 5th, 2021, the Honorable Prime Minister announced 20% ethanol blending in petrol by 2025. So they are also talking about economy-wide energy transformations. Then Indian Railways has also set up a target of net zero carbon emission by 2030. So everybody, every field, every area is working rigorously to save energy, save energy, save energy in all respects possible. India has launched Pradhan Mantri Kisan Urja Suraksha Evam Uthan Mahabhiyan scheme to provide energy and water security. And this is for the farm sector and generate additional income for the farmers for producing solar power. To facilitate large-scale grid-connected solar power projects, a scheme for development of solar parks and ultra-mega solar power projects is being under implementation and with a target capacity of 40 gigawatt capacity by March 2024. Rooftop solar programs phase 2 for the employment of rooftop systems is also targeted for 40 gigawatt installed capacity by 2022. But who is going to do this? If we are not aware of rooftop solar systems and the advantages of rooftop solar systems, then probably it is difficult for us to appreciate it. So the agenda is we have to be enlightened, we have to be cautious, we have to be careful, and we have to promote, implement, and take advantage of all these systems. Which because the government is doing a lot, they have promoted, as you can see, numerous schemes for the promotion of these renewable energy resources. There's another scheme for setting up 12 gigawatt grid connected solar PV power project by government entities. Under phase 3 of off grid solar power PV applications, program for solar street lights, study lamps, and solar power packs was available till in March 2021. And Government of India has notified the offshore wind energy policy to harness the potential of offshore wind energy along with India's coastline. So, because we have a lot of potential, we have a huge coastline available with us. India is fortunately a peninsula, so we have three different, as we are being reading since our school days, that there is a long coastline, and we can always take advantage of this. The only thing is we have to think in that direction and accept it as a resource. Now, if you look at the performance of states and union territories on SDG 13, we find that this yellow one is are the states who are performing well, and the green ones are they have performed. They are front runners in these, and the red ones are aspirants for achieving this goal. That if data is collected from time to time, again I'm saying that for comparative studies, that it is collected to see which of the states is at what pace. And um, if we look at this chart, 36.37% of renewable energy resources have been used, and 38.6 mtco2 has been saved by LED bulbs. So, what is the keyword to success for us? It can be concluded safely that infrastructure or the built environment that we are creating is the key to success and help uh, everyone around, like even the government, save energy. But as we say that um, the basic unit is atom. Similarly, the basic unit is our home. If we have a smart home, that is self-sustainable, we can save energy and contribute towards the climate concern in on a large scale, because every individual if is aware and concerned, then it becomes if you collect it, if you calculate it cumulatively, then it will be a huge amount, it will be a great success. So every one of us needs to be aware of this, and the built environment, that is the infrastructure, can contribute a lot towards this. If we talk about the construction industry, there's a research by construction blog Bim Howe that says that the construction sector contributes to 23% of air pollution, 50% of climate change, 40% of drinking water pollution, and 50% of landfill wastes. There's a research by USGBC which says that the construction industry alone contributes to 40% of energy use, with estimations that by 2030 they will be increased by 1.8%. And according to the report of EPA, Environmental Protection Agency, the construction activity can significantly change the surface of a land. And every one of us is in some way or the other involved in construction industry, because every one of us is an aspirant to construct our own house. At least एक घर तो हमारा हो जो हम अपने बच्चों के लिए छोड़ कर जाएं. So we are all involved, we are all part of this construction industry, and we have to be very careful because every little contribution means a lot. Now, there was a term which came in the previous slides, green India. So, that building green, what is building green is that uh, we are talking about sustainable methods, which includes the sustainable building materials also, the sustainable technologies also, and in turn, what we are doing, we are reducing the carbon footprint. According to environmental group lead, the green building process uses environmentally friendly materials that can save 250 metric tons of CO2 emissions annually. So, what we have to focus on is to have a green building, to use the sustainable technologies. And this can be done in so many ways, like in the site development also, by reducing waste on sites also, by conserving water, by reusing water, by appropriate selection of the building material, by controlling the indoor environment quality also. And this indoor environment quality includes the acoustics also, that is the noise in the building also, because noise pollution is also one of the issues. It talks about the thermal comfort also, that is how comfortable are you inside a building with or without air. If you compare it with an air conditioned building, and if you have a non air conditioned building, and if you are comfortable inside that building without an air condition, that means you are successful. So there are passive solar energy techniques also, passive techniques of building design also, that contribute towards such a building that you can comfortably live inside the building without an air conditioning system, as our ancestors used to do. If you look at the historic buildings, if you look at the palaces, go to Rajasthan, find out the palaces, explore the palaces. They used to have mechanism, and they used to control the indoor temperatures and the environment so successfully that they did not have air conditioning systems, and the climate was hot. So such mechanisms we need to bring again into picture and use them in our buildings today. Now, there is a certain mandatory criteria that is predefined, which would determine whether a building is certified or not in terms of green buildings. Now, this is official in the sense that it is a systematic procedure to say whether a building is green or not. There are rating systems, and there are criterias which include the selection of site, its design, the energy efficiency, building materials choice, waste management, water efficiency, quality of indoor air, innovation, and other technologies. Let us take simply the building materials. If we talk about the building materials, if I am living in UP and I wish to use the the stone from the best stone from Rajasthan, and I want to get it in large quantities. If if I have such a fantasy, I would go to Rajasthan, Jaipur, Udaipur, somewhere. I'll look for the stone. I'll order the stone, and that truck full of that building material will travel right from Udaipur to say Lucknow. Now, this is what is not sustainable. It is not sustainable because we are not using the locally available building material. We are importing it, we're bringing it from long distance. Now, what is happening? That the amount of energy that is involved into this is huge. The basic thing, let me talk about, is if a truck is traveling such a long distance, say 500 or more than 500, 600 kilometers, it is using fuel also. It is creating, it is generating pollution also. So that fuel is very important. It is very crucial for us, and we are wasting it out of our fantasy because we want to use that material here. And if I go into further details of it, it will be a lifelong problem for the person who is doing so, because see, the person, the mason who has to construct with that material is not available over here. People here are used to work in brick, they're not used to work in stone. So if you're bringing some material from far off distance, you won't be able to get the mason to work for it. Then you have to hire the mason from there only. The specialized person will come and work on it here, right? Now, after say 10 years, something breaks off. You don't again have the right workmanship here to correct it. So, in short, what I mean to say is let us save whatever and wherever we can. Green building rating systems in India are existing. We have Lead India, we have India Green Building Council, that is IGBC. We have GRIHA, that is Green Rating for Integrated Habitat Assessment. And we have BEE, Bureau of Energy Efficiency. Some of the names, or maybe most of the names, you must have heard of. The Confederation of Indian Industry formed Indian Green Building Congress in 2001, which is a non-profit research institution, and its office is at Hyderabad, which itself is a LEED certified green building. And this IGBC has licensed the uh, uh, LEED green building standard from USGBC, that is United States Green Building Council. So it's a kind of subset of that. If you go to the website of IGBC, you can see there are numerous types of buildings, the schools, resorts, factories, institutions, everything is there that they're working on, and they are rating the buildings, and this is all for the promotion of sustainable development, for green energy, green buildings. So they give certification, and it depends on the point system. You have to apply for it. The number of points that you secure, you get the that level of certification. Say, if you have scored 60 to 79, you get a gold certification. So the Rajiv Gandhi International Airport at Hyderabad is LEED silver rated. This is the website. If we look at the website, we find a website of CII building. CII, this talks about energy efficiency, IGBC, green eco, entrepreneurship, and green technologies, and so many things are there. If somebody wants to enhance the information and knowledge, can go and look into these sites. Bureau of Energy Efficiency developed its own rating system, which goes from 1 to 5 scale. The more stars you have, the more is your energy efficiency, the energy efficiency of the building. Then this is their website. Making India green efficient is their agenda, their motive. There are so many things that they are doing. They have codes also, they have training programs also, and they're contributing a lot. For the enhancement of our knowledge, we can definitely go to this and learn more about that is being done on making it uh, green. Griha is India's own rating system, which was developed by TERI, that is the Energy and Resource Institute, and the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, Government of India. It is a green building design evaluation system where the buildings are rated, and it's a three-tier process in which they get their rating. So Griha's rating system has 100 points, where certain requirements are mandatory to receive a minimum of 50 points. And there are points for innovation also, like if you are introducing some innovative technology on your site, say for example whatever mud you have excavated from your foundations, you filled it up in jute bags and you used it around the trees on the site, you save the trees and you save the mud also, and you save the trees from the chemicals on the site, then anything new and innovative that you have done, you have to record it, you have to present it, and you get points for it. Or maybe you are using it again, you are using the same mud for filling back after your foundation is being done. So all these things are there. There are so many other things to do. The point system is like if you have 71 to 80, you are a 3-star building. Above 90 is a 5-star building. Now, this report is from Press Trust of India. In 2010, it was said that all new buildings of government and PSUs will have to comply with the requirement of at least 3-star rating under GRIHA. So, all the government buildings are now, since 2010, going ahead for this certification. Why? Only because we are trying to promote the green buildings, because we are trying to save energy, because most of the points in this program are related to saving energy. This is the website of Griha. If you look at, there are so many different types of buildings that they rate upon, and there they have put up their case studies also. Like the buildings that they have rated along with their details are also available on the website of Griha. If somebody is interested in seeing any building, can definitely go to the Griha website and look for the details of a particular building, which star it has gained after rating, and what all was done in the building. Now, this I wanted to show is the Terry building, that is the building of the Energy Research Institute itself, which is retreat in Gurugram. And this building is a role model for us. This is Griha's own office headquarters, and this land was entirely barren. It was occupied. It was adopted by Griha, by the Energy Research Institute, and they have developed these lush green lawns, and the entire complex has now developed. They have golf course also in this building, and this building is majorly working on renewable energy sources, and the temperature inside is maintained with the help of earth air tunnels. They are not having any kind of air conditioning systems, and trust me, I have been to the building myself. It is an amazing building without any kind of air conditioning system. It is a comfortable building. This means that it is definitely possible, and it is located in Gurugram. I mean, it is not a cold climate. So many things they have done there. They have solar chimneys on their southern facades. Like in this section, if you can see, the hot air tends to move up, so they have used this technology. They have shaded corridors. They have sunken floors also. So partially the building is under the floor, and it is cold. Then they have used earth tunnel systems for cooling the air. The air which comes to the rooms is cooled under earth. The temperature is cooled down, and then the air is, uh, exited in the rooms. So the cool air comes inside the rooms. They have their own wastewater cycle recycling system at the site itself. Now, after seeing all this, I would only like to say that the best way to predict future is to create it. Every one of us is capable of doing this. The only thing is that we have to be aware of this, we have to accept it, and we have to do it. With this, I want to end my talk. Thank you so much for giving this opportunity. Thank you, Dr.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Well, thank you so much, ma'am, for giving such a wonderful and precise elaboration regarding today's topic, and especially connecting it with Goal 13 of the Sustainable Development Goals. Now, ma'am, can I take two questions with your kind permission?
Okay,
Okay.
okay, go
Ma'am,
ahead.
question number one of the participants asked that climate change has a tremendous impact on the welfare of human being as well as the environment. How do you think is responsible for solving the problems of climate change?
How do you think?
Who do you think, sorry, ma'am, who do you think is responsible for solving the problems of climate change?
I said every one of us is equally responsible. I related it with every individual. Like if we are talking about sustainable technologies, we are not ready to think about it. I said every one of us has a dream of building our own home, right? So many of us, are related to some kind of some village or the other. Say if my ancestral house is at some up ka gaon, okay. Now that village, uh, most of the houses are made of mud, right? But
Yes.
now that I'm living in city, I think that I'm a modern person, I'm highly educated, now I have a lot of money. If I go back to my village, I would like to have an RCC structure, double story fanciful house with lot of glass windows and everything, and if possible I'll put up an air conditioning system also to show that I'm a modern city guy. Now, why are we not concerned about the local material that is available? Wonders can be done with mud bricks, with the passive systems of designing, without air conditioning. Lot of things can be done, but it is because of our own fantasy and the dreams, the ambitions, that we don't want to think about it. I have seen many people who go back to their villages and construct RCC houses. Now, उनकी अम्मा जो 10 20 100 साल से एक कंफर्टेबल से मड के बने हुए छोटे घर में रह रही थी, आज की तारीख में इफ दे शी इज लिविंग इन एन आरसीसी स्ट्रक्चर, शी इज नॉट हैप्पी बिकॉज इट इज वेरी हॉट. So why are we not thinking about locally available building materials, local technologies? अगर आप इस तरह, that is again the role of designers comes into picture. You have to take help from somebody who can help you in doing this and build a house that is more self-sustained. ना उसमें एसी की जरूरत पड़े आपको, आपका पानी भी वेस्ट वाटर रिसाइकल, ऐसे पेड़ होते हैं जिसमें आपका पानी रिसाइकल हो जाए, आपने एक मोटर लगाया वो रिसाइकल होके वॉशरूम के फ्लश में यूज हो गया, आपका किचन वेस्ट अलग रिसाइकल हो गया, आपने उसको लैंडस्केप में यूज कर लिया. देयर आर सो मेनी थिंग्स दैट कैन बी डन, but it's only a matter of thought. Everyone is important, everyone can contribute. It is not only government's responsibility
It is our
to
responsibility also.
it is our responsibility equally.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, second question asked by one of the participants is that does climate change related challenges could impede energy access to construction industry?
Can you please repeat?
Does climate change related challenges could impede energy access to construction industry?
When that is, I tried to say that construction industry is a huge contributor to lot many things. Even if you start, you know, uh, thinking about right from the first stage of construction of the building, the first thing that we do is we add to pollution, isn't it? If there is an, and it is accelerated if we are going to demolish an existing structure and going to construct again on the same site. You cannot pass through that road, you cannot access that that area, because there's a lot of air pollution, noise pollution. That is the first contributor. Then what you are doing is, आपने demolition किया, उसका जो waste आया आपको वो चाहिए नहीं है, ठीक है. We are not thinking about reusability. हमने एक कॉन्ट्रैक्टर बुलाया और वो एक बड़ा सा ट्रक लाया, उसने उसको उसमें भरा, एंड he'll take it away and he'll dump it somewhere outside the city. So what is he doing is landfills are happening. We do not have that thought process that we are just, why are we not reusing it? We are adding to the pollution. उसमें से फिर पानी भी बारिश का जाएगा तो आपका वाटर पोल्यूशन भी होगा, आपने उसका डिमोलिशन इस तरह किया तो एयर पोल्यूशन भी किया. फिर आपने एक बिल्डिंग ऐसी बनाई जो फिर कोई 50 साल के बाद आके इसी तरह तोड़ देगा. Why are we not constructing things which can be deconstructed? There's a concept of deconstruction as well, which says that the It is just the opposite exercise of construction. The way you are putting up things and constructing something, in the reverse process you should be able to extract different elements from the same building and reuse them or recycle them. But when we are designing or constructing a building, we are not bothered about what will happen after, say, 70, 80, 100 years to this building. Anybody will come and demolish it. If we are designing a building, if you are making a building for the purpose of deconstruction, that is, after 80, 100 years, somebody can dismantle different elements. Beam nikal lega, column nikal lega, slab nikal lega, bricks as it is nikal आएंगी, window के frames निकल आएंगे, वॉश बेसिन्स निकल आएंगे, टाइल्स निकल आएंगी. अगर हमने ऐसा कंस्ट्रक्शन किया है, डेफिनेटली वो रीयूज भी होगा, रिसाइकल होगा. So construction industry has many opportunities. The only thing is that we have to be cautious and we have to use the resources intelligently.
Thank you
I
so
think
much,
I
ma'am.
have answered.
Yes, ma'am. Very precisely and very briefly. Thank you so much. Last but not the least, I would like to start with proposing the vote of thanks for today's session. I, Shipra Mishra, once again, on behalf of entire faculty of Law Integral University, would like to express my pleasure to deliver a vote of thanks for today's session. With profound privilege, I would like to record my sincere appreciation to Dr. Sharmeen Khan Ma'am, Associate Professor, Faculty of Architecture, Aligarh Muslim University, for giving us time from a busy schedule and discussed with us the very important topic that is energy security goals and climate concern in India in relation to the main Sustainable Development Goal 13 connected with climate change and climate concern. I hope that everyone present here will have a lot to take away from your inspiring and thought provoking words. Lastly, I also want to thank all the participants from multidisciplinary fields for joining us virtually and participating actively in the session. Thank you all. To conclude, let me once again reiterate my gratitude to you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am, for virtually addressing us. Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Goodbye. Best of luck
Thank you,
to
ma'am.
every
Thanks a lot.
participant who has at least listened to what I was talking about. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks a lot.